Hello, welcome back. Time now for Media Watch, and for that I'm joined on set by James Creedon, who I believe is having a few technical difficulties. How's it going, James?
Not too bad. We might have some trouble with the computer, but we'll get there.
We'll get there, won't we? OK, well, I believe that a photograph is causing controversy online, taken by an AFP photographer in northern Mali. It shows a French Foreign Legion soldier wearing what has been called a death mask. Talk us through it while we look for the photo.
All right. Well, I think we might have a graphic of the photo that we can show viewers. This was a photo taken in northern Mali 2 days ago, Niono, which is a town in northern Mali. The photographer was a guy by the name of Issouf Sanogo, an AFP photographer based in Dakar, Senegal. An Ivorian photographer. Now, for many reasons, as you can understand, that photo is controversial. It shows him wearing what the media have described as the death mask. It's actually from a war video game called Ghost. And in fact, it was interpreted as a mask, etc., etc. And a lot of people are saying, well, what is a soldier doing wearing a kind of a scary a thing like that? Now, I suppose you could say, let's not be naive. A soldier is trained to go out there and do battle and kill. He's not there to tell jokes and be a completely innocuous figure. So that is one point worth making. Now, we did ask the photographer, Issouf Sanogo, earlier today why he thought the photo had caused such a stir. Let's take a listen.
Why indeed? I've also asked myself this question. Why is there a controversy around this photo? It's simply a photo I took. I think it's a nice photo. The soldier did not have his mask to protect his face from a cloud of dust. A helicopter was landing. There was a lot of dust. So he took out this scarf to protect himself.
OK, James, so what does the controversy around this picture tell us about how the Mali conflict is being covered by social media?
I think it's very interesting, Louise, because on the one hand, what are you expecting from a soldier other than, you know, I suppose at least the preparation and the training to kill if necessary, right? And in all forms of war throughout history, I think the idea was to perhaps scare your opponent. So on the one hand, I think the reaction to this photograph has been somewhat naive. I mean, what can you expect of a young soldier out there other than perhaps he could be a little bit light with the notion of war on occasion. What it also tells us, I think, is how sanitised the image of war has become, in particular with this conflict. I'll just show you on the computer some of the headlines we've been seeing in the past week. Mali, a war without images. This is in L'Express news magazine. Also in Le Point, Algeria and Mali, countries without images, talking there about the hostage taking in southern Algeria as well. And that has been a deliberate move by the French army, partly to protect soldiers in what is a very dangerous conflict with special forces operations, etc. But also, you could say it's convenient that the public isn't necessarily seeing the grisly side of war, and it's never pretty. And indeed, speaking to AFP, bearing in mind that the photographer who took this photo was an AFP photographer, speaking to AFP earlier, a couple of days ago, this article appeared on the 18th of January. One person who remained nameless spoke about the Vietnam War. You can see it here in the text of this article, saying a former press officer for the French army said, look, obviously people in the army are aware of the power of images. When reporters were allowed to go to the front line in Vietnam, and there was this famous image, what they called the napalm photo, it massively swayed public opinion in the US against the war in Vietnam. So I think you could say that one of the reasons the French army is so unhappy about this photo, la photo qui dérange, or the photo that upsets, it's being headlined here, is because it even if it was a perfectly innocent moment, in reality he was just covering his face and trying to protect it from sand or dust as a helicopter were landing. It suggests something else. It's what the image could be misrepresented as that worries the French army.
That's an image tells 1,000 words,
That's
isn't it,
it,
James?
Yeah.
OK, another story that's generated buzz on the French web, a gas leak in northwest France that spread to Paris and southeast England.
It's pretty extraordinary stuff. A lot of people were worried overnight in Paris. I heard people even in the newsroom saying it was 3 a.m. I woke up with this horrible smell, like rotten eggs or something like that. And it quickly began to spread on Twitter, not just through the air, but through social media, with people saying, oh, should I throw a match out to see what happens because it smelt of gas? Then the next next thing, this is in Rouen in northwest France, right? Then it was Paris, and then it was London and Kent. And you have this amazing headline from the Daily Mail, the French stench.
You can always rely on the Daily Mail for a kind of to-the-point headline.
What are they suggesting there with that one, Louise? I don't know. Anyway.
Could possibly say to our French audience out there.
Now, the next thing was it became a hashtag on Twitter, hashtag French stench, with people saying it catches in the back of my throat too, etc. And there was another, what was it? Froggy niff. What an awful pong. So look, it is kind of funny, but some people were genuinely concerned that it could be dangerous.
Yeah.
This person here saying, ça sent le gaz, it smells of gas, in French means I can feel the danger coming. And this is kind of segueing into the next topic. It's 50 years since the Franco-German friendship became solidified in a ceremony, 50 years of Franco-German friendship. And one person saying, oh, of course it would smell of gas on this celebration. In other words, it smells dangerous with the whole German thing. Anyway, French in-joke. And we'll just finish. I'm not sure if I managed to explain that. This is Plantu, the cartoonist for Le Monde. And here is his impression of the 50 years of Franco-German friendship in the form of Titanic with Kate and Leo and all of that. A slightly less romantic version in a slightly smaller boat that could also sink, I think is the suggestion.
Well, the pair haven't talked about personal chemistry today, so... All right, James, thank you very much. James Creedon there with Media Watch. Stay tuned, we're back in a few minutes.